Do you want to know a really good way to cause an argument among musicians? Well, just ask them what key the song Dreams by Fleetwood Mac is in. See what happens. Before I explain why that may cause an argument among musicians, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Greg Harradine. I'm a composer, and this is the 21st episode in my series Good Art, Bad Art, where I discuss various songs, albums, compositions, even books sometimes, and share my thoughts on whether these things are an example of good art or bad art or somewhere in between. And I love to hear from you too, to see if you agree or disagree with me. So today the focus is Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, and I'm yet to meet someone who dislikes this song. Perhaps you dislike it. If so, tell me why, please. But yes, everyone I've met who's mentioned this song has spoken about it in glowing terms, and I couldn't agree more. I definitely think this song is an example of great art. I'll explain why, but first back to this argument. What key is it in? I think most of us have an idea that songs are in certain keys, even if we're not musicians or aren't trained in music. And most of the time, it's easy to know what key a song is in. It's in A major, it's in F sharp minor. It's clear. But occasionally comes along a song where it's very ambiguous. And this song, the reason it's ambiguous is there's really only two chords in it. Okay, three at a push, yeah? Two chords, F and G. So one of the reasons the song is so hypnotic and just compelling. And you keep wondering, even though you've heard it many times, you keep wondering, is it going to resolve somewhere? It never resolves. It goes from F to G, F to G, F to G, all the way through, back and forth. With the exception, yes, of a single A minor chord in the middle section, sort of in the guitar solo section. So what key is it in? Some people say A minor, yeah, could be going from chords 6 to 7, F and G, and then you get the A minor once, yeah, chord 1. But doesn't really feel like it because you so rarely hear that chord A minor. Some people say C major, could be hearing chords 4 and 5, and then eventually 6 once, but you never hear chord 1, C major, doesn't really feel like that. If you're a slightly more sophisticated musician, you might say, oh, it's in F Lydian. The Lydian mode, chords 1 and 2, F and G, or some people might even say G Mixolydian, chords 7 and 8. Anyway, the point is, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't actually matter because you're not meant to feel it as having a tonal center. It's just written. Well, of course, Stevie Nicks wrote this. She wasn't sitting there thinking, I want to create a song with an ambiguous key. Of course she wasn't. I'll tell you what happened. She wrote this song. Guess how long it took her? I mean, apparently, according to her, if we are to believe her, and I do believe her, pretty much, she said it took her 10 minutes to write this song. 10 minutes. She was doing some recording sessions with the band. I think this was in 1976. When she wrote this, 1976. And she wasn't needed on a particular day in the main studio. So she went into another studio where she took in a Fender Rhodes piano, Fender Rhodes keyboard, and sat down, got a beat going, and then wrote this song in 10 minutes. Incredible. Of course, it is only two chords, but then the vocal line is just so haunting. Wrote it in 10 minutes. But then, of course, there's a lot more to it than that because it's not just the chords and her amazing vocal. There's all the other amazing layers to it. So we have, of course, the beautiful vocal harmonies by Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie. There's something about the trio of their voices, isn't there? The three of them, Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham, and Christine McVie, they just blend so well, so beautifully. And apparently Lindsey Buckingham constructed the vocal harmonies just by sitting at the piano, playing triads, playing chords, along with Stevie's main vocal line, figuring out what would work best. And then they sat down, learnt the harmonies, recorded them. People often admire the drums on this. They're not overly complicated, but they're very solid and hypnotic. And actually, the producer decided that what would work best is to just use a drum loop. So, got Mick Fleetwood to record 8 bars, I think it was 8 bars, and then for most of the song just looped those 8 bars, which didn't happen that often back in the day. You tended to have full takes of drummers, and usually that's what most drummers would prefer. You want to drum for the whole track. You don't want to loop yourself, but it does create this hypnotic effect. It works really well. He did then go back and add on, I think, some extra tom accents and added some congas as well. And there's lots of layers to this track. I didn't really realise till recently we can hear vibraphone in there. There's vibraphone, Christine McVie playing vibraphone. Of course, there's the beautiful guitar work, which just keeps your interest going. And yeah, it's just such an artistic song, isn't it? It's got a strange mood to it. It's unsettled, I would say. It's unsettled. And the lyrics sort of reflect that. Thunder only happens when it's raining. Technically not true. Of course, you can actually have thunder without rain, but never without lightning, interestingly, of course. But yeah, the lyrics fit really well. Players only love you when they're playing. Ain't it the truth? Yeah, it's a very much loved song. It was ranked 9th on the Rolling Stones 2021 list of the 500 best songs. 9th. 9th out of all songs ever written. That's pretty high, yeah? And I mean, what more can I say? Its influence has gone a long way. You can hear the influence of this song in particular, I feel, on people like Lana Del Rey, Taylor Swift sometimes, and the Dixie Chicks, now known as the Chicks. Yeah, the band as a whole and this song, this album, Rumours, I mean, 1977, this whole period has had such an influence throughout music history, really. And we're coming up to 50 years. It's not, a few years' time, this will be 50 years ago. Remarkable. So, yes, if you haven't clocked it, you will, I'm sure, now realise that I film these things in one take. Yeah, a single take. To keep it fresh, I want it to be like a conversation. You hear me sharing my thoughts in real time. I don't have a script. These are just my off-the-cuff thoughts. So let me know what I should cover next time. Yeah? Could be an album or a song, could be a book. And I hope to keep this going as long as people are interested. But yeah, Dreams, fantastic song. I always give a score out of 100 when I remember. These aren't scientifically calculated scores. They are just the score I feel on the spur of the moment represents the song. So I give it 91, if you can see that. 91 out of 100. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps. And join me next time on Good Art, Bad Art. Goodbye.